welcome down to episode 89 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, making that guy laugh too hard before we come on air here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and in your other ear or on the other screen if you're watching, or in your other ear if you're listening. It's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Yay! I'm in Australia. I finally made it. Unbelievable. Hello, Brendan. Welcome down to episode 89 as per the show
Thank
notes.
You for updating the notes at the absolute last moment. I appreciate
last minute. That was take 2 of the intro. I really think we should include some of these offcuts. I think that'd be quite funny.
They're on the cutting room floor, my friend. Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again.
No.
But how are you? I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really excited. We've had a big week, and we're doing really well. Having a nice beer to start the episode off. We're sort of in celebrationary mode a bit.
We are. And why would that be, Cameron?
Why? Well,
why are we
a couple of reasons. The other day, I opened up the Apple podcast charts.
Yes.
And we're ranked number 5. We're in the top 5 of the visual arts podcast listening in Australia.
Which in itself is no mean feat.
Well, that was awesome. We got a little bit happy about that. And then the next day, we opened up the charts and we're number 3 in the visual charts. So what that means for people who don't really care about this, you can tune out. But for people who do, what that means is that we are the 3rd most listened to art podcast in Australia.
Yes.
But if you narrow it down even more, because that's what we've got to do to keep our egos, on check.
Massaged. If you
narrow it down even more, we are the number 1 Australian photography podcast show.
That is true.
It's only taken 88 episodes to get there, but God damn it, we're taking it. It was pretty exciting.
Yes, we are. We are quite excited. We're chuffed. So thank you to everyone who has tuned in, listened, subscribed, all that stuff that we say every week. It does mean a lot to us. It means that not only does it massage our egos, it also means that what we're doing is right. People are liking it, so that's cool. And it also means that we're, it encourages us to keep on doing what we do. So, like we said last week, we never started this as a business or as a money making enterprise or anything like that. We started this because we thought the banter that Cam and I were having around a fire one night was interesting, and we thought, okay, maybe people might want to listen to this.
Well, the people at the fire didn't. They all walked off, didn't it? It was only us two around the fire pit at the time.
But they don't subscribe to our show now, so
no, they don't. They keep shaking their head every time I come back upstairs from recording an episode.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
So hey, do we have to? We got some subscribers. We've got a few subscribers popping in. Numbers are going up. We're almost reached a milestone there too.
593 subscribers, tapping on the door of 600. I would like to give a very special warm welcome and shout out to Molly, who I know is now a subscriber to the show, and to whom I promised a shout out once she subscribed to the Down South Photo Show. So hello, Molly. Told you I would, and there it is.
Good stuff, Molly. Are we going to start doing those? I was going to say OnlyFans. It's not OnlyFans. You know when they do.
No one wants to see your OnlyFans channel, my friend.
No, when people do the shout outs, like you can get your birthday. You can get.
Oh, that would be awesome. We should have birthday shout outs and stuff. That'd be cool.
Birthday shout outs.
We'll do it at the end of the show.
You can do a book out. And one thing I got feedback on as well about last week, our sound was really good. We sounded awesome. Yes, maybe that was the difference.
Yes. And I'd also just quickly, Jeff, who popped in, a Tasmanian who was traveling with his wife. Sorry, I can't remember his wife's name. Popped in, said g'day. They were in Ocean Grove. They'd come across on the Spirit and then cruised down to OG just to come in and say hello, which was very, very nice of them. So thank you. They're on their way to Lake Gardner, I think it's pronounced, not Gardner, but I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's near Lake Eyre. And heading out there. So that was really cool. They popped in and said g'day. And
did they show you their passports when they came into Australia? Or
that's right, exactly. I said, well, come on, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that's great. I think that's good. That's the good thing about what you have is the store, that people can physically come in and say g'day. Well, I watched the show,
and that's what's happening, which is really cool. I love it. I get pretty busy in my shop, but I'm always happy to make time to say hello to people who watch and listen to the show. Andrew Cooper, hello. He popped in during the week as well, purchased himself something. And he was sporting a Down South Photo Show hoodie at the time.
You purchased something. He can't tell us what he purchased.
Maybe he doesn't want people to know what he purchased, but he did purchase a very nice canvas print
Canon.
off me, which was
I was
awesome.
going to say, did he buy a Canon or a Nikon? Because we might have to review that hoodie purchase.
Yeah, it was neither of those.
Anyway, moving on. We're crapping on.
We are way too much. The weather photo comp, the People's Choice, has been run and won. Congratulations to Ben Cooper. Yes. Related to Andrew. Anyway,
yeah, maybe
Ben Cooper, your lightning shot, which
yes.
Have we got the breakdown of the votes of like?
I knew you were going to ask that.
But from memory,
yeah, we do.
We 70 likes for his lightning.
Just keep rolling and
stretch
that out a bit, and I'll get you the numbers.
It was awesome. So, we had a lot of people voting on the People's Choice, which was really cool. So thank you for that. Yeah. That was through our Facebook page.
It was.
And do we have the results, Cameron?
Oh, of course, mate. We had them ready all the time.
Did I stretch for long enough?
You stretched long enough. So the lightning shot that Ben did, amazing shot, that had 70 likes, which is great. Second place was even between Sarah Jane Egan's beautiful little mango-y tree in the water and the Barry Povey shot of the storm front down at the Mornington Pier.
Yep.
And then after that, we had Philip Johnson with that really beautiful shot. I think it's the Blue Mountains with all that mist and fog and stuff. That was pretty cool. And then Eric Anderson, who had the hoarfrost in the shot there as well. I think that was all of them. Yeah.
5 very worthy photos. So thank you for that. What we are hoping to do is run a comp every second month. So basically we run a comp for a month. Then we have a month where people can do People's Choice and that sort of stuff. Then we have another one. So 6 times a year, we are having a photo comp. So now that it's August, Cameron, we need a theme.
I was just about to say that. We are running.
It's going to be a very broad theme, but I think I've got
one. Given the fact that we hadn't discussed anything about this month's photo competition until about 2 seconds ago, go for it. What would you like to do?
Well, obviously the theme's always landscape because this is predominantly a landscape
golf cricket show. Yep.
podcast. This theme is color.
Right.
Color. That's all. That's it. Make of that what you will. The theme is color. I'm sure that people have already in their mind gone, hey, I've got that shot of yep, I'm going to enter that.
Yeah. So is it like, but that could be anything, just a color image of anything.
Well, let's see.
Or do you think people should maybe fine tune it to have like a more of a dominant color over another color? Or
let's see. It'll be fascinating to see.
I'm trying to help.
I'm going to back in a lot of autumn photos. I'm going to back in a few rainbows. I'm going to back in. There'll be lots of interesting shots, but color is going to be the theme.
Yeah. So, okay.
I like to keep it broad. I mean, weather was pretty broad, so color is probably equally as broad. So
okay. All right. Okay, so color is the competition.
You'll
so
be
that's
able to
going to
enter that on our Facebook page as of Saturday, which would be Saturday the 12th of August. That will open and that'll run through the remainder.
No.
Sorry, the 5th of August. I'll be quiet.
Come on now.
Saturday the 5th of August.
The 5th of August. Yeah. We'll put up a pin post. We'll take down the July competition and we'll put up a new pin post, and you'll be able to chuck your photos in there. Again, we'll go through there. Brendan and I will pick hopefully not the same top 5 again. That was pretty weird that happened, but you never know.
Happen again.
We'll pick another top 5. We'll pick a winner. What are we going to give a prize? We're going to swap the prize. Do you want me to give the major prize and you give the other prize? We'll reveal that before the next. Yeah, we'll speak. We'll speak to the tax man and see how much money we need to give.
We'll talk to our people and they'll talk to your people.
That's the one. So, all right, cool. Color it is.
Yep.
Sounds good.
It could be interesting. Could be interesting where people take that theme. So I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on there. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, welcome aboard. Lovely to have you here. We do have a website, dsps.com.au, where you'll find out everything you need to know about the Down South Photo Show, including links to all of our previous episodes, to our YouTube channel, everything like that. So jump on there. We also list our workshops that we run on there as well. We have apparently a photo of the week, which I didn't know about until Cameron told me about it 2 weeks ago. So jump on, check out our photo of the week. Normally, photo of the week is a photo that's done by myself or Cameron. So, and looking at your
but if you would like to sponsor the show, we'll put your photo right on the front page.
Not only we'll put your photo, we'll put your logo, we'll have
we'll put everything,
your theme music running in the background, whatever you want.
Surely now, if we're ranking in the top 3 and the number 1 photography podcast in the world, surely someone's going to reach out and say, hey,
we've gone from number 1 in Australia to number 1 in the world real quick. I like that. Well, that's good.
Australia is the world, mate. Nothing else matters.
We are number 1 in the world by a guy running the show from Tasmania and a guy running the show from Ocean Grove. Number 1 in the world.
Yeah, number 1.
No question about it. Really quick, we have announced the Great Ocean Road workshop, which is running from May 26th next year. Jump onto dsps.com.au and see all the details. Places are already selling. So
we've got a handful or so of places left.
Do yourself a favor and jump on and have a look. Backgrounds, Cameron, let's talk about your background. I'm going to make you full screen.
Just as I need to burp because I'm drinking beer. Thanks, mate. Okay, let's go.
No worries. I'll bleep that out. I'll actually might enhance it.
So this is not a color image. This is a black and white image. So this is a shot I took yesterday, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It's actually going to roll into our horror story for the episode, this shot. So, but this is a quick description of this. Is a shot looking over Lake Pedo in the Southwest National Park of Tassie. And we just had 5 minutes of this incredible light where the clouds just broke and we had all these sun rays beaming down the lake, sort of splitting in amongst the mountains. It was amazing. One of those moments where Jamie and I just both looked at ourselves and went, okay, that's off the charts. That's pretty good. So, good place to go. It's a place that I've taken a few shots that have been really, really quite good for me. So here's another one. I'll tell you more about this shot as we get into our horror story. But that's the southwest of Tasmania. For those who know where it is, it's a place called Scotts Peak Dam Lookout.
That is damn fine. Pardon the pun. You've done incredibly well. I mean, we talk a lot about being able to take photos in great places, and that's excellent. The experience, though, of seeing what you saw as well, I'm sure you can, in your mind's eye, picture it again and put yourself back there and how you felt and all that sort of stuff. So
absolutely,
it's one thing to be able to, we're lucky enough to be able to jam a lens in front of our eyes to be able to capture that shot, but to experience it in its own right must have been fantastic.
It's funny, though. This location, I had another shot, which over my other shoulder here, it's like a 300mm shot of this little section with the rain and the shower, the rain bands coming through. That's the same spot. It's this place at this time of year just throws up these conditions all the time. I don't know what it is, the angle of the sun, time of year, whatever it is, but it was really lucky again. So I was pretty chuffed with that.
You should be. Very cool.
And you are definitely in color.
Well, look, I mean, here I am at the Summer Apostles. Now, I'm going to ramble on a bit about my trip down there shortly, but got really, you make your own luck, I guess, but I decided, no, on Friday I would get out of retail for the afternoon. The thing that I'm really lucky is the Summer Apostles is literally 2 hours from my doorstep. So I can sort of look at the conditions and within pretty close predict how it's going to look. So cruised on down to the Great Ocean Road, got there, and the sun was setting pretty much right behind the 12 Apostles. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. The weather was weird. I was heading down through dark clouds and a bit of rain, and then kept looking at radars and saw clearness down from Port Campbell all the way to Cape Otway. So I was like, okay, let's get ourselves there. So really stoked. I say this often, it's hard to take a bad photo at the Summer Apostles. What it's really hard to do, though, is to get something a bit unique. Everybody's been there. Everyone knows the limitations of the Summer Apostles because you have a platform where you can shoot from. So then it gets to a point where you've got to have conditions, and getting conditions like that, I was absolutely stoked. So that's a really, really good experience, that trip.
That's almost a sort of bucket list, isn't it, in a way, that you go to these iconic and unique places and you just want that light to work for you.
Yeah.
And like I've been to the 12 Apostles probably I'd say maybe half a dozen times maybe.
Yep.
And I think I've been there once or twice when the conditions have been really good for photos, and the rest have been just blur or middle of the day or whatever it is. But yeah, I know the feeling when you go somewhere that you don't go often. That's a really iconic, amazing place, and you get there and it's just like, oh, the light's crap. Or you get there and the light's off the charts, and you're like, hey, how good's this? So
in case anyone wants to know, and you're watching and not listening, that's on the Olympus the OM system OM5 with the 8-25. I believe I was at about probably maybe 15 mil at that point, so 30 mil in 35 mil speak, and this is taken using the built-in ND filters. So you can see the sun is still up, like it hasn't gone yet. So I was able to sort of take an exposure of around about half a second to get a little bit of blur on the waves there. So just if anyone wanted the technical jargon.
How good are the neutral density filters?
The built-in NDs have revolutionized the way I take photos, and that's not hyperbole. That's true. I've because I was so used to getting to a place like that and then fossicking around for an ND filter because the sun's still up. And anyway, I'll go into more detail about the trip soon. But the fact that I can just literally pick a menu button and just go, there it is, and turn it on, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's actually it has changed, and I'm actually. And I don't know whether other manufacturers do it, but I'm kind of surprised they don't.
Well, I don't know if they do or not. I think the Sonys might have some
I've
inbuilt
heard something
stuff
about Sony. I should look into that. I should be more across it, camera retail and everything.
You know what I was thinking before? Totally off the cuff here about how well we did in the pod, and we won't crap on about that more anymore. But I was thinking, like, we're doing it really well as a pod show, and all we do is hang shit on every other brand apart from the Olympus brand. How is anyone actually listening? Because surely most of the people listening are Canon, Sony, Nikon users and things like that. Or maybe they can just tell that we're not really that important. And
I think more importantly, they can tell it's firmly tongue in cheek when we take the mickey out of other manufacturers. That's right. What I'm finding at the moment is in camera retail in particular, case in point, yesterday I had a couple of young ladies come in who are starting their own Airbnb photography business. Awesome.
There you go.
And asked me what they should buy. And my very first comment was, it's really difficult for me to sell you a bad camera. And that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
And it's true for many reasons, not least of all is the competition that's out there now. These manufacturers have to set a pretty high standard with all their models, because if they get a reputation for putting out a lemon, it doesn't sell. It will not sell. It instantly stops selling. And
or if it does, they won't sell the next one.
Correct. So, you know, their R&D departments, I'd love to know how far ahead they are, like 3, 4, 5 years. What's their roadmap? How far down the track are they? You know, do they have prototype cameras that do God knows what? I mean, you know,
Well, it is funny.
AI is going to be a big one coming to. But anyway,
yes, our friend AI. It's funny you say that, because I just did my Olympus OM day down at Port Arthur. On the weekend, and same thing. They had a couple of people that were Sony users who came along to try the Olympus out, and vice versa. And I said towards the end, I said, look, you know, this is a sales pitch kind of day in a way, but I definitely don't ram it down people's throat. And I said the same thing as you. I said, but to be honest, you can't buy a bad camera. No. So whether or not it's a Nikon, Sony, Canon, Olympus, Panasonic, Leica, whatever it is, every camera, Fuji, every camera brand has to be at the top of their game with their cameras they bring out, because it's so easy for people now just to swap brands. Like it's, you know, I don't like the new Canon, I'll just go to get Nikon a go. So yeah, you're right. Like you can't really sell someone a bad camera.
No. Just to round out that story, I ended up recommending them a Canon. So there you go. So we're not completely biased to the OM system. It just happens to be the system that both Cameron and I use the most. So
that's right. Well, the shot behind me. The shot behind me was not shot on a Canon or Olympus.
People are asking what was it?
That was shot on my little Leica with a 90mm lens. That's the longest focal length I have. Beautiful. And that's what I used, and it worked nicely. So
very good. Can I just quickly get on my little soapbox?
Go for it.
Okay.
Good or bad?
No, it's good. I just wanted to
not
bang
controversial.
on a little bit about the trip down the Great Ocean Road on Friday.
Okay.
I put a post on Facebook after I did on Friday night after I got back, and and the post was basically about how photography is my thing, and I wanted to reiterate that on the pod. When I don't would ever say that I'm the greatest photographer on earth. Far from it. I'm a photographer who happens to absolutely love what I do. Hopefully that comes across to you guys. When I went down to the Great Ocean Road, I got to Port Campbell about 2:00 in the afternoon, and I thought, right, I'm here for the 12 Apostles. That was, I was only there for for one evening. So, I had to go for the jewel in the crown, if you like.
Yeah.
So I took my time and I had a bit of a walk around Port Campbell, got a bite to eat, and then about 3:00 rolled around. So I thought, I'll head down there anyway and just see what the light's doing. About halfway out to the Some Apostles, I saw a little dirt road off to the right, which I've passed 100 times and never had the time nor made the time to go down that little dirt road. Always thinking one day I'll go down there.
Yeah.
I promptly did a U-turn and went down that damn road. And I am so glad I did. It's not signposted. It's just a dirt road with a giveaway sign. Drove down there, parked the van, got my gear out, and went for a little walk. Within 300 meters, I was amongst some of the most spectacular scenery I have ever seen in my life. Standing on cliffs like the one you see behind me, looking down, and by the way, crapping my pants because all of a sudden I was on this 200-meter drop. It's probably not 200 meters. That's exaggerating, but it was at least.
Probably felt like it.
It's 200 feet, let's say. With the Southern Ocean smashing into cliffs below me, and then just off to my right, a tiny little waterfall that just coming down and going over the cliff, and it just those moments when you're out with your camera. Not to get too flowery, but I actually got a little bit emotional. It meant so much to me to be able to, for me, discover this place. Of course, I wasn't the first person ever there, but it was new to me. And it blew my mind how good it was. And it blew my mind. The light was amazing. And then the images came. I set the camera up. I was patient. I knew what I was doing. That comes with experience. I talk to a lot of people who do workshops with us, and they get frustrated really quickly. Most of those people that get frustrated are newcomers. They're newbies. They might have only been shooting for a couple of years and get frustrated with what settings they should use. Please, please, please stick with it. Please stick with it, because 5 years in and things change. They really do. You start seeing the photos in your mind's eye, and you know exactly the settings, and you know what you need to do to capture the scene. So when those moments come, and they are rare, for me, time stands still and nothing else matters. And it's
apart from that 200-foot cliff.
That's right. It's like when I equate it to, if you've ever been into the movies and you go to a movie and you get so entrenched in the movie that when the lights come up, you then remember where you are. You're like, oh crap, that's right. I'm in a movie cinema. In a movie
that's
theater.
Right.
Exactly.
Put your pants back on.
So I just wanted to say, get on my soapbox and just tell people how important it is to stick with it, and to instead of dropping $2,000 on that new lens, drop some fuel into your car and go for a bloody drive and get out go to these places, because it really, and not that I needed it, but it really sort of reaffirmed my love for landscape photography when I was in that moment. So,
and those are the moments you can't. It's a shame you can't bottle them as such, but what you can do is you can put them on a memory card, and
that's right.
Like you said, that spot you went to, that little waterfall, like you'll see that photo, probably a couple of thousand times in your lifetime.
Our listeners will see it right now, because there it is.
Oh, right.
You
put up there. Oh, yes. I'm thinking, where is it?
No. I'll put it in by the magic of post-production.
There you go. So, but you'll be looking at that photo, and it'll always bring back memories of where it was, what you were doing, how you felt, what the weather's like. You're on your own. You had the whole place to yourself. And to me, I think we said it on the last episode, the one before, that's what it should be all about. It shouldn't be about trying to get likes online. It shouldn't be about who has the best gear. Shouldn't be about, outdoing your mate or doing, something like that. It really should be that time to turn your brain off mentally and have a break from the rat race and go out, breathe in some fresh air and take in the scenery and use your camera to capture those moments and those feelings. And yeah, I changed the main topic tonight. You might have seen it. We're going to talk about something else, and I've just changed it to say how good is photography, because you've had an amazing experience down the Great Ocean Road.
Well, I mean, as it turned out, the little waterfall thing was entree to what you see behind me. That was, and I thought, had I only got the little waterfall and the cliffs and that, I would have been wrapped. That'd be awesome. But then I got to rock up to a joint like this.
Yeah.
And it was next level. It was quite funny because typically when you get to the Summer Apostles, there's 40,000 people there. As I say, it's the jewel, and there are people. And I got to talking to a lovely couple. Hopefully they're listening. They said they would, from California, who had their daughters with them.
Right.
They'd come to Australia for 6 weeks, a really fast trip to Victoria, to Australia, and they had basically done. We've got 6 weeks. What should we see? And of course, the 12 Apostles, in my opinion, and this I don't know how people will take this. I think it is one of the most beautiful views in the world. Every time I walk around that little corner and you see what you see behind me, it does take your breath away. I don't know of many other places in Australia like it that do that. Even though, yes, it's incredibly accessible by everyone, I don't care. Even though there was thousands of people there, I don't care. It's easy to get a really good vantage point there. There's lots of spots where you can position yourself along the platform or even up the stairs, where I commandeered right beside the stairs. There was no one there, and I can't believe this. I just planted my tripod there, and I proclaimed this planet for
I call this Brendan's spot.
That's right.
I
don't know where I was going with that, but the best bit was getting to talk to this couple from the States, and they were just awesome. They had their two daughters with them, say like 10 and 12 years old, showing them this amazing place. And I was happy to show them a few quick photography tips. They had the cameras, and it was cool.
It is it's one of those things, photography. It's like an international language of "G'day, how you going?" type of thing.
Absolutely.
And I remember when we went to the States a few years ago. And speaking, like, you're 100% right. The 12 Apostles is an amazing part of the world. This whole country is mind-blowingly good.
It is,
and it's that whole adage thing, where you live in a spot for so long you forget how good it is. We were at the Grand Canyon, and the Grand Canyon is incredibly impressive. Like, this is massive hole, and we're standing there. We're like, oh my god, how good's this thing? And I was talking to Lisa and said something, and these American people spinned around and said, "Are you from Australia?" And we're like, "Yeah." "Oh my god, Australia is amazing. It's the most beautiful place in the world." I'm like, "How good's what's behind you?" Like, they're like, no, we went to the Blue Mountains. We've been to the Great Ocean Road. We went out to the Outback and Kakadu. Like, they named more places than I've been to, and they rated that as the best place they'd ever seen, like Australia. Where here I was looking at their backyard saying, "This is pretty impressive." So it's sort of like the international language photography, where you can go somewhere and enjoy the views together and enjoy the beauty that we live in. So it's great that you had a great trip down there, and it's great that you found. I think it's great when you sort of stumble across little secrets that you didn't know are there in a spot you've been to lots and lots of times. I always encourage people as well. Like, I reckon I've been down almost every dirt road in Tasmania there is. Because I do what you do all the time. I'm like, oh, I haven't been down that road. Let's have a look. There's always something new down there. So
and how good is it when you do see, I don't know. I think when you turn down a new road that you've never been down before, and as photographers, you start to look at it for photos immediately, and it's incredible. Like, within, a few hundred meters normally. Oh, there's a shot.
Pull over.
Okay, this road's 75 k's long, but I'm 200 meters in, and
it does it. The road that this photo's taken on, the Scotts Peak Dam Road in the southwest of Tassie. I've been down this road thousands of times, but every time I take someone down there who hasn't been down there many times or hasn't been there at all, like, you literally get a couple of 100 meters and there's a thing called the Creepy Crawly Forest Walk. And people are like, "What's in there?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just some forest. It's nice." And they go have a look, and it's like this horizontal forest. It's moss everywhere. They're like, "This place is incredible." I'm like, "We've still got 34 k's to go, and we haven't even got anywhere near the best part yet." So I love that when you have people that are new to an area, or you find a new area, like, you get that little adrenaline hit, and you can see photos popping left, right, and center, and yeah, it's great. So
yeah, it is cool. And can I indulge and put another one of my photos up on the screen?
Look, let's change this to the Brendan Waits photo show.
Sorry. I know I got very excited. What you're looking at there is a photo of two fairy penguins on the beach at the base of the 12 Apostles. There's many reasons why this photo means a lot to me, not least of which was in the dim, dark 90s, I actually was involved in fairy penguin research with the CSIRO on a place called Montague Island. Yeah.
I wear a lot of that story before.
I volunteered as a researcher for fairy penguins on Montague Island off Narooma in central New South Wales coast. Sorry, and the central coast of New South Wales. Got to live in a lighthouse for a week and count fairy penguins. So I know a lot about fairy penguins. And sorry, what was that?
How many was there?
On Montague Island, from memory, something like 8,000 breeding pairs, which is a lot.
It's a lot of counting, Brendan.
It was. It was cool. But anyway, I knew that penguins landed at the base of the 12 Apostles, and not a lot of people know that. And I hope I'm not sort of, saying something I shouldn't. But if you have a look, I'll just cover. So you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, you can see all the grass and stuff growing over the rocks. That's a penguin colony in there. So if
you know what, I've never seen penguins really. I've seen maybe a couple of glimpses of them, but I've never seen them in the flesh.
They are incredibly elusive, and you, my friend, live in one of the best places in the world to find fairy penguins.
Apparently.
Yes, Bicheno is quite famous for the fairy penguins there.
Yes, Bicheno is quite famous.
Anywho, so, everyone left. It was great. There was thousands of people. The sun went down, everyone bailed. So all the photographers that were still there were just laughing and going, we've got this whole joint to ourselves. Yeah. There was me and two other people that were pretty serious, I could tell. They left as well, but that's fine, whatever. I sort of knew that the penguins were coming. So I wanted to see them. It's like if I see the sunset at the 12 Apostles, I don't leave until I see or hear a penguin. So, because then it's pitch black when they land.
I was going to say, that's when the show's over.
Yeah, you've literally got 3% light left, I guess. Like that's how dark it is, and you've really got to know what you're looking for. The first thing you do is hear them. You'll hear them quaking in the waves, sort of thing, and then all of a sudden, a wave will wash up, a wave will come back, and there'll be a penguin on the beach. And that's that photo that I put up. And what they'll do is, because it's such I won't go on too long, but because it's such an effort for them to come in to land through all the breaking waves and everything, when they land, they very quickly waddle up to the safe zone. So where the waves aren't washing anymore and going to wash them back in. And they have a micro sleep for 15 seconds.
Do they?
That's 100% true. Isn't that amazing? I find that incredible. They literally close their eyes and they freeze. And you're like, what are they doing? They're sleeping for 15 seconds and then they'll wake up and they'll start going further up the beach. They call out to their mate that might be in here, or their chicks, not at this time of year, but in October, they'll call out to their chicks. And that's the other amazing thing. Fairy penguins all look exactly the same, right?
Yeah. And but they know which ones they are. Yeah.
They know which one's which by their call, which is amazing.
That is amazing. Mother Nature at its best, eh?
Yeah. So
you mentioned.
Sorry, can I just finish on the fairy penguin story real quick?
Go. The fairy penguins. Go.
That shot was done with a 400mm zoom lens in manual focus, pointed at the dark. And I cranked the ISO to as high as it possibly can go on an EM1X, which is probably 12,008, whatever, and literally was just shooting blind. And in the hope that I would get a frame, because I couldn't see anything. I literally could not see. The viewfinder wasn't picking up anything. And then that's what I got. So I was pretty bloody happy to get that photo. That's going on my wall, that shot.
And you didn't intrude on the animals, which is great. You didn't go down on the beach and chase them around or anything like that.
No, which is probably why they're thriving so well right there, because it's nigh on impossible to get onto that stretch of beach. Yeah.
There used to be stairs down to that beach, didn't there?
I think... yes, there was, and there was actually a ladder under the platform, which is where the rangers used to go down. Yeah, and it was all padlocked up and everything like that. But they've got rid of all that completely, because I think they winch people down on the beach for penguin research and stuff now. So, or you abseil. Anyway, sorry, that was right off topic, but hopefully you enjoyed that little story.
That's cool. That's a good story. Speaking of stories, you mentioned Lighthouse before.
Yes.
Yes, you did. Up on that island where you were counting penguins.
Yes, where I lived in a lighthouse. Yes.
Yes. So down here the other day, we had a little bit of wild weather in Tassie.
Oh, yes, you sure did.
We had, technically, we had level 3 or category 3 cyclone winds down here. But a shout out to another photographer here in Tasmania. I don't think I've ever met him, and he probably doesn't listen to the show. A guy called Martin Cooper. He actually at m.coops.
Yeah, this is the third Cooper we've mentioned tonight. What's going on?
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Well, he and his partner or friend, I'm not too sure what the situation is there, but they're on Matsuka Island off the south of Tasmania, and they're lighthouse keepers for 6 months. So you can do 6-month stints.
Fantastic.
It would be amazing to do that.
Yes.
But they were down there the other day, and they recorded over 200 kilometers an hour winds on that island.
Wow.
And there's a couple of photos he sent through as part of their research and their job there, and it just looks terrible. Like there's just waves crashing everywhere. It's just wild. But
get us down there, Cam. We need to run a workshop there.
We could do 6 months together living in a lighthouse, couldn't we? We'd need some beer and then some. Anyway,
no, I don't think we. No. Anyway, doesn't matter. We move on.
We're going to get on to gear talk.
Yes, let's quickly talk about gear talk. We did mention last week, week before, that DJI have got themselves a new drone, the DJI Air 3. Is it called the Air 3 Pro? I think it is. Yeah, whatever.
I think, Air
3. We're not here to plug DJI. They got enough money. And it says here in my notes, okay, Cam was wrong. He now wants one.
Yeah, I was wrong. I apologize to anyone who had their eyes set on that and didn't go buy it because of my feedback. Don't listen to me. I had a look at the other day. I was talking to my mate Jamie yesterday on the way back in the car. He was driving, and I was Googling. I'm like, this drone's actually pretty damn good.
Yes.
So yeah, for anyone looking to get a drone, and they're not stupidly expensive. They're not dirt cheap.
No, they're
not.
They're not.
You can get this DJI Air 3 with a whole kit with batteries and stuff like that. It's about $2 and a bit grand. It's not stupid money. But it does actually do 48 megapixel stills on the wide angle and the telephoto 70mm lens as well.
That's nuts.
It has a flying time of 46 minutes. It's
also
berserk.
Nuts.
Also nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking I've got the Mavic 2 Pro, which admittedly I don't use that often, but one of the reasons I don't use it because everywhere I go I'm like, oh, the battery's half dead. I'll only get 5 minutes and I'll have to bring it back down again. I like to explore with my drone. I like to go places and it's got a 20 kilometer transmission radius.
Yes.
It's nuts. You could fly out to the 12 Apostles behind you and get a close up at the 12 Apostles and come out.
Yes.
Which
not that you're allowed to.
You'll get in trouble to do that. We're not encouraging that. But so yeah, I'm thinking of maybe not straight away, but I think in the next few months I might try and grab one and play around.
I've neglected my drone for a little while, but I do love the added element that it brings of being able to put a camera pretty much wherever you want within reason. Just to remind people that drones in national parks in Australia are banned. You cannot fly a drone in a national park in Australia.
No, and down in Tasmania, you are very heavily restricted to fly anywhere. And sadly, you can bleep this out if you want, but there is dickheads that come down here and fly their drones all the places they shouldn't fly them around, and they ruin it for everyone else. So I actually got a message tonight from someone who has a YouTube channel, does an amazing job as a YouTuber. I won't go into too much detail, but they got approached by Parks and Wildlife down here about having the right permits to do, because he goes in and out of some of the parks and crosses some of the reserves and stuff like that. And they finally caught up with him and said, hey, you need a filming permit to do what you're doing down here. Yes. So he was reached out to me and asked about my permits and licensing and stuff like that. And I said back to him, I said, this is what I've got. I said, but don't even bother trying to fly drones or get a permit to do drones. They won't even
give
you
a chance.
Unless you're a massive production company, they won't give you any access to fly drones. So again, we've said it a few times in this show. I'll say it again. If you have a drone, awesome. Use them. They're great toys. They're amazing. But for Christ's sake, keep them out of national parks and out of stupid places you're not allowed to do it, because all it does, it just ruins it for everyone else who wants to fly their drones legally and have the right CASA licenses and stuff like that. I know plenty of people that have drones and fly them incorrectly, and I bite my tongue every time, but maybe I'll start saying stuff. I don't know. It just annoys me. It just ruins it for everyone else.
No, you're right. It does. It really ruins it for everyone else. Anyway, that's not what we're here. We're here talking about the gear. So DJI Air 3, get on, have a look. They are pretty amazing. One thing I will pick up as well, yes, it might have a 20-kilometer range, but the law in Australia says your drone must be in line of sight at all times.
I can see 20 k's away.
Same. Mate, I saw the moon tonight. That's 186,000 kilometers away.
We've got, speaking of moon photography, there's two supermoons this month. There's two.
I hate that term. Why do they call it a supermoon? It's not like it's going to be 10 times bigger than normal. It's
it's like 3% or something, is it?
Oh, wow.
It's better.
Oh, amazing.
It's a pretty big moon. 3% of big is big.
Wow, that's right.
And I think the one later in the month is a blue moon.
Yeah, what's that mean? Is this because it's the second full moon in the month, right?
I think so.
Yes,
yeah. But I got a message from our dear old listener, Chelsea, tonight.
Hello, Chelsea.
Chelsea, she was out at Bunnings shopping and said, Cam, have a look at the moon. I went out the front porch and I'm like, where? And I couldn't see it. It was tucked behind the houses up the street. It was on the wrong angle.
Yeah.
And she goes, it's amazing. It's huge. I'm like, shit, I can't get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But
Chelsea, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, be careful, Chelsea. She gets a bit feisty these days.
It looks amazing. I'm sure it does.
It did.
It ain't any bigger than it normally is to the naked eye. So it's all. I love how the media grab hold of it. Oh, it's a supermoon. Particularly ABC, they're big on it. They always post about the supermoon, and it's like, whatever. So we're having another one, are we? Brilliant. Anyway. Well, geez, got my high horse about that one, didn't I?
I was going to say, I feel a bit of moon hatred. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Horror story.
Yeah, horror story. So, we didn't get a horror story, so I created my own. So yesterday, my friend Jamie and myself decided that we wanted to go out for the day, and after all these massive storms came through, we thought there could be some cool shots to be had, and maybe a bit of snow around. And so the first thing we thought, we'll go out to Mount Field. It's about an hour from Hobart. We'll go up the top. There'll be heaps of snow. We'll be able to get some great shots. But that road's closed due to fallen trees, and they'll be closed all day. No worries. So we thought, we'll drive out a bit further. We'll head out to Strathgordon and this lake behind me here. And just as we're leaving, before we left, Jamie's like, I brought my chainsaw. It's like, those novelty chainsaws that the kids get as toys, like the little tiny ones that they work on AA batteries. It wasn't much bigger than that. And I sort of giggled. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. So we headed down this road, Scotts Peak Dam Road, where this ends up at the dam here. And we're driving along and we're like, oh, cool, we're doing pretty well. The council, the workers are on the other road clearing any trees that were down. And we come around the corner and bang, there's these three massive trees across the thing. So an hour later, we've finally, dug through that with a butter knife of a chainsaw. So we went through that one. We went another couple hundred meters. There's another tree, and then another tree, and then another tree. I think we chopped down about 5 or 6 big lots of trees. So 3 hours later, from when we started on the road that generally takes about 30 minutes to get to here, we rock up and we're knackered. Like we've been pulling logs out.
That's
the way.
Right. Exactly. You're in no mood to be taking photos.
We're filthy. The chainsaw's gone through. Jamie's a builder, so he's got all those rechargeable batteries in his ute. We went through about 600 of those. And we get up to this lookout and we pull around and we started taking a few snaps and we're like, the light's not really doing much. It's, we spent 3 hours clearing the road for nothing.
Yeah.
And we literally both said to each other, look, let's give ourselves another 15 minutes here, see what happens, and then we'll head back. That happened in about 5 minutes later. It just made me think that, for all the horror that went into that day and all the hard work to clearing it all, the rewards are epic because we know for a fact that no one else was down that road because no one got down there.
That's right.
So we were the only 2 people in the world that caught this view at the time it happened. And that, my friends, is amazing.
That is very amazing. And the other coincidence is, had there not been all that wind, you would have been up Mount Field and not got that photo, right?
Exactly. Yeah, all these things happen, don't they? And it's funny, quick aside to that, there's a really great photographer down here called Luke O'Brien. He runs workshops and stuff like that. I rang him today, or I spoke to him today, and he goes, oh, what have you been up to? I said, yesterday I went out with Jamie and went down. He goes, I was down that road. I turned back because there was logs all over the road. I said, yeah, we chopped them down and made it all the way to the end. He's like, oh, you bastard. So
that's right.
But yeah, it's funny how things work out. But it was an amazing day. We had a great time and hanging out with mates. And Ended up getting a really good shot. So
now Cam's like memory card check, filter check, tripod check, chainsaw check.
Chainsaw check. I tell you what, this little chainsaw, like it was small, but it got through them all. Like we were talking, pretty big logs.
I like it.
Yeah.
We have a deer cam.
We actually had 2 deer cams this week, but
so we had to choose, and we'll hold one over for next week. Deer cam, for those new to the show, is a segment of the show where you send in a question for our learned friend in Tasmania, Australia, to answer for you. And 9 times out of 10, I also chime in as well because, hey, you can't keep me down. Deer cam. It actually even says deer cam and Brendan.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
maybe we should change it to deer. Maybe we should just change it to deer lads or something like that.
No,
deer boy.
Deer cam. Deer cam's got a good ring to it.
This is your baby deer cam, isn't it? This is one of the first things you came up with this show. You go, I've got this idea, deer cam. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. You love it.
88 episodes, 89 episodes later. What episode is it? Is it 88 or 89?
It's 89.
It's 89.
It is 89. Jesus.
Deer cam. Some photographers show their camera settings with the photos they post or include them with the images in magazines. Remember them? What is your thought? Gotcha. What is your thought on this? Personally, I've found it helpful with my photography, but I still muck it up. Thanks for the great show. Another Cameron Harris. Thanks, Cam.
I was waiting for Cameron Cooper, but anyway.
That's right. Thanks, Cam, for the deer cam. Thoughts, Mr. Blake?
That's why I had to include it because his name's Cameron.
Correct.
Clearly the guy's a legend.
Totally.
I haven't met a bad Cameron yet.
No.
So what are my thoughts on this? I think it's helpful. I think people that don't share information on photographs are a little bit dicky. You see it online all the time. It's like, oh, cool. How did you shoot that? Or what camera did you use for that? Oh, I'm not telling you. I'm not, I use my camera. That's it. So I think sharing is caring. Like people should share, like that happens all the time. People should share them. And I think they really do help because if you think of it from your own point of view, when you go back to your Lightroom or your Photoshop or whatever you're using, you always look at what the settings of the camera were. Yeah. So you go, oh, yeah, ISO this, f-stop this, whatever. So if it's going to help you, it's going to help others. So I don't think it's a problem. I think it's nice that people do share them. I think it's a nice, easy way to give someone else a bit of an insight as to how that photo was created without, going on a workshop or doing research. They can say, oh, okay, if I go to a similar spot to that, I can use those kind of settings. So, yeah, it's definitely helpful. The reason why people might still muck it up from that is conditions might be different or the composition might be different. The camera system might be slightly different as well, different lenses and things like that. So the settings are great to know, and they're good to have as an indication of how to shoot certain scenes, but you still got to put your own twist on it and smooth it out the way you want it to do it. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Not a lot more to add to that. I agree with everything you just said.
Right. That'd be first. That would be.
We have agreed on things before. Probably the only thing that came to mind was, and this is ridiculous because no one's going to put this on there, but camera settings, sure. Photoshop editing, is anyone going to actually say I moved the contrast 20%, I put the saturation slider up 10%, I dehazed it, no one's going to say that. And does anyone really need to know that stuff?
Look, I tell you what, I think it does help as well. So, question without notice for you: when you're editing your shots,
yes,
like for example, that series of shots that you've shown and the others that you showed me from your Great Ocean Road trip,
yes,
would you say that your editing was fairly similar through all of them, or were they all a bit all over the place, like different contrasts?
Generally speaking, if I go back through a shoot, so like a session, I reckon the editing would all fall very, very similar. I don't I never batch process ever. Like in fact I've never done it. I didn't even know how to do it. I'd rather take every photo on its merits, sort of shot to shot. Mind you, I completely understand why wedding photographers, for example, do it, because what a pain in the ass to have to go through and so you batch edit because most of your shots are under the same lighting conditions. So I get that. But it's just interesting when you see the camera settings. Does that help you? In some regard, it does, I think. But then you've got to remember to apply those settings when you're presented with the same lighting. You know what I mean? So that's where it gets a bit tricky. But it all harkens back to what I said off the top, and that is experience. it all sinks in little increments over time, and eventually it all just flows. So
I think you're right, because one thing I think I've changed over the last few years, probably in the last 5 years, is my editing. Some of the sort of base settings of each photo are always the same, like the same contrast level, a bit of the exposure changes, a bit like the same texture, clarity, vignetting. There's some of them that's consistent all the way through. And I find that once I do that, I get a consistent looking series of shots. So you're right. There's the settings of the camera which can go, oh, okay, that's how they shot that. Does it help you improve? I think it helps you maybe, like you said, figure out the matrix a bit more.
Yeah.
But it still comes down to you personally putting your twist on it and editing it and being the right time and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
If you have a DeerCam question for us, please hit us up on the website or in the comments below here, or on the Facebook page, or send us smoke signals or Morse code, whatever your thing is. We also on dsps.com.au have a wonderful little button that says beer donations. Please feel free to give us a beer. Or buy us a beer. We don't beg for it, but if you do want to assist in the running of this little, what do we call it? This little experience,
top 3 rating podcast.
If you would like to help us get to number 1, we need beer.
What are we going to do if we get number 1? Like, surely we've got to do something. I'll tell you what, I'm going to
asterisk number 1 on visual arts. Let's just say
number 1 on visual arts. Yeah. If we get number 1 on visual arts, I'm going to give 2 people off the top of my head a call that I can think of.
Yes. Would those 2 people be freezing their asses off about now?
They might be.
Yes,
I have a feeling.
I think I know who you're talking about. Anyway,
I have a feeling they might be snuggling a lot at the moment.
Spooning, maybe.
As long as they're not forking, that's the main thing.
Correct. Thank you to Jenny C's back again with another beer. Thank you,
Jenny. Thanks, Jenny.
Mel, where would we be without you, Mel? Thank you so much. Mel called me today, and I haven't replied. I'm so bad. I'm sorry, Mel. And but he did order a camera and photo hoodie.
Right. So he might be starting his own sweatshop.
Sweatshop?
Sweatshop, is that what they're called? Where they make hoodies and stuff.
You just see Mel running a sweatshop in Myrtleford. Andrew T, thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew. You are a serial beer donator as well. So thank you so much to those people who have donated some beer this week. Cam.
Here's another quick insight for you. So the DeerCam questions came in, they're pretty good. What happens if the beer donations just go crazy and we end up getting like 15 slabs of beer dropped on our door?
We really celebrate our 100th episode.
we're gonna have to have a Down South photo show party somewhere.
Oh, I like the sound of that. And I reckon I know where we could do it too. Cameron, I know we've got to wrap this up soon because you've got to go and pick up 5-Star Dan from the airport.
I do.
Hi 5-Star. What have you got coming up, my friend?
5-Star Dan and I are off to Cradle Mountain on Friday for my winter workshop.
Up.
Winter workshop. And it's going to snow 2 out of the 4 days we're there, apparently. So giddy up.
Sensational.
So we're there. Yeah, I've got to pick up Dan in about an hour from the airport. And we're up to Cradle Mountain. We've got 6 wonderful guests, a couple of 4-wheel drives, and we're looking forward to getting up there and taking some great photos.
Brilliant. Love it.
What about you? Where are you going next? You're not going.
I'm going back.
I'm back to the future.
That's right. I'm going to double dip and head back to the Great Ocean Road on this Friday. So the day this goes out. So if you're watching this now, I've just got back from the Great Ocean Road again. Heading this time up to above Forest and above Apollo Bay to the waterfalls. Going to go and suss out. Apparently there's a new track down to Beauchamp Falls, so I want to go and have a look at that. And gee whiz, I might even throw my camera in. What do you know? Also going to have a look around the Redwood Forest, and I'm also going to look down the Otway Forest track as requested by you, Mr. Blake.
Yeah, I want a nice windy road shot through the forest.
Okay.
It is a narrow road though.
It is, and I've got to be careful where I park. So I'll
just do what everyone else does. Just park in the middle of the road and get out and take a photo.
I'm seriously considering taking my mountain bike and doubling up. And I've always, particularly when it gets warmer and things start to warm up here, I think there's a place for me to be able to have my OM5 and just the 8 to 25 in a small bag strapped to my back on my mountain bike and be able to access some of these places. I want to do that road that you speak of from, Beach Forest basically down to Apollo Bay on my mountain bike. So that I might do a bit of a scout for that. The problem is getting back up to the van. That's where things will hurt.
No, that's all right. It's all part of the fitness.
Yeah. I'll just get an e-bike like everyone else seems to do and pretends they're still a mountain biker. Spare me.
Ooh, on that note, that's a bit of a barb.
No one listens to this far in this show, mate.
Clearly.
Now, so that's it. That has been episode 89.
89.
Make sure you say 89 in the notes.
90 next week.
We will enjoy Cradle. Looking forward to talking to you next week about Cradle. Say hi to 5-star for me. And that has been episode 89 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 90 next week. Bye for now.
See you later.
Ciao.